But I remember making the comment on the Inquisition update that Shimon Peres had deeded Temple Mount to the Vatican. And you broke into my program and said you wanted to see proof of that.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Understanding your responsibility as the owner of First Amendment Radio, I scrambled to come up with that proof. And it was Joel Boehnerman and Barry Shamish, and I'm very much grateful to both of them, and even Eric John Phelps, who reported it. And it's true.
Well,
the Vatican,
in a court of law, we don't really have proof yet. But I felt
we're certainly seeing the evidence of it now.
Right.
And it would be difficult for anyone it would be difficult for anyone to poo-poo or naysay.
No, that's over with. There's no poo-pooing or naysaying going on for those that want to investigate.
That's right. Facts on the ground, observable facts on the ground today, that the papacy now is a main power broker in Jerusalem, calling for a sovereign enclave over which the Vatican or the papacy will rule in Old Jerusalem, in East Jerusalem. And this can be nothing but the fulfillment of Rome's phony futurist attempt to create a 70 week of Daniel. And the Pope is going to eventually, this is my assertion, and I know you agree with it, the Pope is eventually going to be crowned king in Israel. He's going to become a Messiah figure in Israel.
Well, as I was saying, Tom, several years ago, I stepped out in faith, feeling impressed by the Holy Spirit that this was the truth and this was going to happen even without evidence. And I usually don't do things like that. I usually wait till I have evidence. But if the Spirit moves you, you have to go with the Spirit. So anyway, so now these several articles have popped up here verifying from other sources. And I mean, there's the reality. It is shaken and it is moving. So all of the things that we've been talking about are now coming to the surface as they have to.
Hello everyone, welcome to GGN. Today is Friday, March 15th, 2013, and I'm Darko. Alright, I'm just going to continue here. I'm going to cover the Pope, and that's the news for this first video post. And the second, we'll get into all sorts of different stuff, including globalism, the New World Order as it's put, and how it's affecting people's lives globally. And of course, eugenics is part of that. This video we're watching, Second Vatican State to be established in Jerusalem. You can go in there and check it out, watch the whole video. Police to restrict Muslims' entrance to Temple Mount. Information about plans to cause disruptions after Friday prayers lead police to restrict entrance to Jerusalem site to men over 50 and women. So they decided to restrict the entrance of Muslim worshippers to the Temple Mount on Friday following reports of planned disruptions after prayers. Statement said police will take a firm hand against any attempt to disrupt the order. We have Al-Azhar seeks closer ties with new Pope. Says the 1,000-year-old seat of Sunni Islam learning yesterday said it wanted better relations with the Vatican after years of acrimony. On Wednesday, an Argentine cardinal was elected to succeed Benedict. As most of you already know, he chose the name Francis. So, it says Benedict's 8-year tenure was marked by scandals and controversies, so including turbulent relations with the Muslim world. Says we're hoping for better relations with the Vatican after the election of the new Pope, says the advisor. But the new Pope's charismatic reputation and relatively progressive political views have already stirred up expectations of change. You keep hearing that change, kind of like Obama. Pope Francis reaches out to Jews. Goes on and says, like his predecessor, Pope Francis reached out to Rome's Jewish community at the very start of his pontification, pledging to continue to strengthen the increasingly close ties to Catholics and Jews. In an interview Friday with the AP, they said that the dialogue between Catholicism and Judaism was complicated, but added that the new Pope's background gives me trust and hope that relations will continue to improve. This is some interesting information here in this first video. It says here, as he was known before he became Pope, this Cardinal Jorge Bergoglio showed as Buenos Aires Archbishop an inclination to expand interfaith outreach to Islam and Judaism. So it made efforts to further close the nearly 1,000-year estrangement with the Orthodox churches. So this is the thing. right now it's always been about Zionists in the middle, basically Judaism, pitting these two against each other. Of course, using Christians and Catholics, and Sunni Muslims even, these terrorists that quote hate Israel and all that. They're actually working for the Zionists, which is crazy. Just like Christians and Catholics in America that go over and spill blood in the Middle East for these Zionists and protocols of elders of Zion, and that they look at them as tools to be used by these people. So it's not a joke, it is real. And it's funny, though, because they're talking about an interfaith and outreaching and stuff like this. We're talking about the ushering in of what Pike was talking about, Albert Pike, a Mason, about merging all of these religions into one. That's part of this new order. So it's kind of spooky.
Folks, thank you for joining our broadcast already in progress. As you know, Pope Benedict has resigned. The question is, who is going to get the nod for the top job? Joining me now, chaplain of the Colbert Nation, Father Jim Martin. Father Jim, thanks so much for joining me. Father Jim, were you shocked this morning when you learned the Pope would be resigning?
I was. It's not unexpected because he had talked about it sort of obliquely, but I don't think anybody was expecting this.
It's completely unexpected. I talk about running the New York City Marathon. I'm never going to do it. No pope has resigned voluntarily since Pope Celestine III in 1294. I mean, there are barely any trees on the planet who remember this. What happens now? There's no tradition for this. What happens?
No, there's not. I mean, there will be a conclave, an election, where the cardinals will gather and elect a new pope.
But there's still going to be a pope when they elect the new pope?
He's going to resign on February 28th, and there will be no pope. There will be what's called a vacant seat.
There you go, folks. The video is glitching a little, and I've about lost all my patience that I have left, what little I have left with technology. So it just glitched right there. You can actually watch it. But you heard the audio, and it says, Father Jim explains the papal election process and the unlikelihood of choosing an American pope. Remember, I covered that about how there were all this media bashing America's possible chances of having a pope, or Canada. And guys talking about election. Well, the next pope was probably already chosen before Benedict even stepped down. Probably when he took the quote papacy, whatever. It was already decided. It's just a big joke, and that's why he's smirking like that, And who was he? Oh, Father Jim's actually a Jesuit. So then you have anti-mafia police raid offices and diocese of frontrunner cardinals urged to overcome divisions at special mass shortly after detectives mount dawn raids in diocese. So that's how the election process works. Then you have this new pope, first Latin American, first Jesuit, and first Pope Francis to lead the world's Catholics. Then we have some background information on what it is. It says here, the Society of Jesus, Pope Francis is a Jesuit. 7 things you need to know about the Society of Jesus. So they're also known as God's Marines, or the Company. Pretty interesting, like that movie. It says here, the Order of Priests and Brothers was founded by St. Ignatius of Loyola in 1534 with 6 other students at the University of Paris. They referred to themselves as the Company of Jesus. So probably happy that the Jesuits were not forming their own church like Martin Luther a few decades earlier. He was a rebel, a bad guy. Pope Paul III granted them condemnation in 1537 to become priests. They gave them the right to become their own order of priests. With missionary work as their core value, the Jesuits have been known for spreading Catholicism throughout the world, including Asia. It says here they took the vow of poverty, chastity, and obedience under Ignatius. They've been linked to some of the best universities in the world. It says they are known for free thinking, which has helped make the university so well regarded. And they say if the Jesuits are smarty pants Catholics with a poverty vow, why hasn't there been a Jesuit pope before now? Although they're well regarded, the order wasn't always in such good terms with the Catholic Church. So it goes on here, and it says that Jesuits managed to retake the narrative on that one, and the term Jesuit is embraced by the order and has a mainly positive meaning by 1767, led by charges that Jesuits were too influential and elitist, Pope Clement, signed the suppression of the Society of Jesus which was enforced in Catholic countries such as France, Spain, Portugal, empires, among others, but the order was not followed in non-Catholic countries, causing them to go to Russia and its territories. Switzerland actually banned the Jesuits in the Constitution, which was not lifted until a national vote in 1973. Free Thinking and Poverty Vow says, does that mean Jesuits are socialists? They encourage toleration for other religions, teach other theology in their institutions, and also believe in free education for all. Pope John Paul II denounced some Jesuits in Latin America for their emphasis on liberation theology, which focused on the liberation of oppressed people. See? So again, this is another tactic that the Zionists use. Some people call them the founders of socialism. It says here that you may have heard it from Jeremiah Wright, supposedly a believer in liberation theology, or from Glenn Beck, who says liberation theology has completely perverted Christianity, particularly of the poor, from their rich oppressors. The most damning link to socialism comes from Fidel Castro, the former Cuban dictator studied under the Jesuits for 12 years. Will Pope Francis be a progressive force in the Catholic Church? So remember, we were talking about that's the new word for communism. It's kind of a covert word for communism, slash socialism, the next step to it. That's why they use the word, because it's been tainted, kind of like eugenics after World War II. So it says here, they keep calling the modern world. Most North American church members felt a more liberal pope was necessary to herald the church into a modern era. This is this new order that I was talking about. In one article I saw that they were saying, well, will he be for open contraceptive and abortions? And it's just like, Jesus, people. I guess, maybe, who knows, It's crazy times we're living in, so everything really is upside down, so. Prominent Jesuit launches a new Catholic college credit online program called the Liberal Studies Program. So, like we're talking about their missions and missionaries in Asia. Their missions in North America started during the 17th century and faltered at the beginning of the 18th. They were established as part of the colonial drive of France and Spain during the period of the conquest of souls. Talking about Nouvelle France, New France, and early Spain. And you can go there and check it out. Link will be posted. The conflict with the Iroquois, among other Indians, where they basically just, them being there, all of a sudden the diseases popped up. Whoa, big surprise. And the nations weren't even trading with each other because there's so much conflict and death. The kidnapping controversy with the new pope, accused of involvement in 1976 abductions. Argentines shown different reactions to election of new pope. So it goes on and it says that the Pope faces a troubled background that links the complicity of Argentina's Catholic Church to the country's 76-83 civil military dictatorship, and questions the role the new Pope played as the head of the Jesuit order in the 70s. During the period, 30,000 people were persecuted, killed, and tortured by the military. St. Malachy, last Pope prophecy, we've gone over this. I'm not going to go into detail about it. His prediction, dated in 1139, prophesies that there would be 112 more popes before Judgment Day. Benedict is supposedly the 111th pope, which is what? The olive pope, the glory of the olive, which could be for Germany, Benedict, or it could be what? Like we said, olive skin. Someone from Latin America.
On everybody's mind. Why are you here?
Why am I here? The same question, Why am I here? I'm on this website. And it's all about, it's a gambling website. And it's about people that is going to bet on the new pope. If he's black, you get your money back. So that's basically the whole slogan.
And you're rhyming.
Yeah, you're rhyming, but I'm just saying, looks like he's going to be black.
Oh, you think he will be black? Why do you think that?
He will be. He will be. From Ghana, he will be black. He'll be black.
So there it is. There's our buddy again, Dennis Rodman, Mr. Clandestine International Operative, coming back fresh from his trip from North Korea. Now he's talking about a black pope. He's just kind of laughing again. It's just secret code talk, probably. He's saying from Ghana, but he knows. New World Order Francis, the ultimate black pope. Haven't we seen this Twilight language before? Talking about the Masonic, little hand in the sleeve. A little Isis, Horus, Seth on 13/3/13, as the date is written at the Vatican, says, which adds up to another 13. The Roman Catholic Church picked a new pope. The Jesuits and the black pope. The cardinal who rarely smiled was how he was characterized. The term black pope is often experienced as a derogatory nickname given to the superior general, usually by the media and never utilized by the Jesuits themselves. They like to play the name game. So they have a military background. They're sometimes referred to as God's Marines or the Church's Stormtroopers, and have origins in the Inquisition. Thank you.